Here's a video of the power pole ad that I put on this FF power unit back in November. So I've got a little slideshow here, and it's been working well since then. It's December 4th now. So here's what I did to make it work. First, I thought that I could just get one of these and make that work, and turned out those were too big. So here's what the back of the box looks like. I'll turn off this light here. That's what the back of the box looks like. Faceplate, that's the internals. There's the power works unit that would not fit, so do not get that. Go ahead and click in here. Flip through these slideshows here. All right, so that's the power works unit that would not work. So we'll jump over here. That's what the back of the box looks like. Notice that these XT60 connectors were connecting the faceplate to the battery pack. So I was able to find a splitter on Amazon. So I'll put a link to that splitter in the video notes somehow, so that you can buy that. That was pretty cheap. This stuff was all over. I had to get that off. I heated it up with the little heater there. So I got that off. I didn't put anything back on. Found out that was just glue for assembly, and it hasn't come apart, so I don't expect it to. This is the cigarette plug that I had to remove to get the unit hooked up. I put tape over these so I wouldn't shock myself, so you had to be careful with that. All right, so here was the situation. All around this, there was circuitry. You see more of it on the inside of that board. So to get the plug on there, that all has to come out, but can't use that one, so I had to find one that would work, and I'll show you a picture of that here coming up. I guess put some suggestions in the notes if you've got a good way of unsoldering something big and globby like this without removing the board. I just mechanically removed it with my snips, got it out of there okay. There it is that's what it looks like from the outside, or used to. All right, so then once I snipped it out of there, I was able to push that out without breaking the board. And let's see here. That's what the inside of the board looks like. So there's components of the board right up to the edge of that hole, so I couldn't enlarge the hole any. So I had to find a bulkhead fitting that would go in there, and it turned out I found some more stuff on Amazon. I'll put a link in there to the one that I was actually able to find that worked. All right, there's the board there. And so let's notice that, hey, if I could just get something, then this would work with that. And was able to, I cleaned that up a little bit. There's my end snips. These are the guys I was using. Worked really nice. All right, so I found this bulkhead fitting in a kit. The kit was only like $13 or something, super cheap. And I was able to, once I figured out, this is a PG16, it says. So the PG16 bulkhead fitting works great with just the regular Anderson power poles. I have a kit of those that I purchased off of Amazon also. So Amazon's kind of becoming today's Radio Shack. To get that working, I had to snip it. I'll show you. Oh, here we go. So snip the end off to get it to fit flush. That's what that looked like. All right, keep going. Here's my snippers. All right, so that's what it looked like once I snipped it, put it in there. All right. I may edit some of this so you don't have to hear all my blabbing. I've cut that flush. And if you guys know how to do soldering better, we wouldn't do that, please let me know. I do have a soldering station, but I'm really not the best at it yet. But I'm practicing. So that's what the power poles look like inside of the bulkhead fitting. That's what it looked like in the unit. So we were in business. Oh, one thing about that. there's a little lip on the inside of this bulkhead fitting that worked great. You push that in, it's not going to go in any farther, but I was concerned with it pulling out. I did something kind of Yankee. I'll show you here. But if I had this to do all over again, I'd probably use some kind of epoxy instead of the material that I used to hold that in. But what I used worked okay, so I guess you're welcome to do that too. That's what it looks like from the outside, inside. I'm gonna make sure there was good clearance. So just fitting it up. Still more of that. Okay, that's what it looked like. Again, see how small that is compared to the PowerWorks unit. All right, just running you through the slideshows. There's the splitter, the XT60 splitter. Came off of Amazon. I don't know if you can see that or not. XT60. There it is. That worked great to run power directly from the battery pack to the power poles. There's that splitter. Worked awesome. Put the power pole together at the ends, crimp those on, and then just push that in. So that's not going to go back any farther, but it can come out. So being concerned about that, I grabbed some just some material I had around, some wire tie, and tied it off like that, and then put it in there, and then wrapped it around so it can't pull out. Although after I got done with that, I realized there's some wire in there, and if I did it again, I'd just have all plastic or some kind of bonding agent, so there was no conductor in there, but it seems to work okay for now. And that's I use this stuff, I guess you call it sugru. It's some goop. And I used another set of power poles to make sure that it didn't set up kind of as a mask, so that the plugs would come in and out. And then put it all back together. This is all the stuff that I purchased for the project, less the power pole connector kit. So I'll put all that stuff in the show notes or in the video notes, whatever that works out. Okay, so this was putting it back together. That's that wire tie. I just went ahead and wrapped it around here so that it couldn't pull back out, and so that thing's probably not going to go anywhere. But it's got a conductor in there. Didn't think about that. This is for a separate project, but there is the I'll put these on my Wolf River coil for quick disconnect. Those thing works great for that too. And there's that splitter, I believe. Oh, that was a different, yeah. That was for that's a what is it, XT60 to power pole connector, different project. So there it is, all ready to go back together. And still going back together. That's what it looks like from the inside, assembled. Keep going here. That's what the inside of the unit looks like. All right, it's all connected except for these guys here. So all the power is connected. And then get the controls connected. Connecting it up. And put back together. Now here was something that I messed up. I had to take it all back apart. I put it together and I had some power here, and had power here, and the display showed, but these buttons weren't working. And so don't make that mistake that I made. I tightened this down too far. This is used to hold that board in place in the center, make it rigid. So I over tightened this, and then these buttons wouldn't depress, or actually they would stay depressed. So I had to take it all back apart and make sure that these buttons worked before I put the faceplate back on. So watch out for that. And then once that was all done, it took about a day or two for this stuff to really cure up good. And check the voltage. This thing puts out about 13.2, 13.8. There's some variability there, but works great for the radio. The radio is able to handle that. It's a Yaesu FT-891. Works great with this thing. The AC still works, the USB still work, the charger port works, power works. The only difference is this always has power on it, so I'd like to get something to plug in here so that I could isolate it from anything bouncing around and creating a short. So if you know of a power pole plug, or if you know how to make one, let me know. So we got functioning unit. I believe that's, oh yeah, so here's the charger. It's connected and working. And guys, that's it. So if you have any questions, send me a note. And if you want to repeat this, I am not responsible for anything you blow up, burn up. I am not a professional. I'm just an amateur radio operator. Call sign Alpha Echo 4 Juliet Charlie. 73 from Alabama. There's the unit, working great.